Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Chael Sonnen to defeat. He defeated everybody. I don't know what I'm talking about. Chris Curtis versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Marc-Andre Barriault is 16-6 as a pro, 33 years old, and he's got 3 inches of height, but giving up 1.5 inches of reach to 36-year-old Curtis, who is 30-10 as a pro. These are two very seasoned fighters. And of course, Chris Curtis has twice the seasoning of Marc-Andre Barriault, almost literally. But this is also a fight between two very durable fighters. Each guy has one loss via TKO and one loss via submission. That's it. Chris Curtis has come years back. He was knocked out by Ray Cooper, who is the Robbie Lawler of the PFL and a world champion there, as Lawler was in the UFC. And he was submitted once by Toothless Tom Galicchio with a rear naked choke. I believe that's his first loss, or one of them. Toothless Tom, good fighter, kind of under the radar, but definitely a very talented guy. And since then, I think him and Chris Curtis became friends. Marc-Andre Barriault, he suffered one loss by knockout, one by submission, but both of his losses have taken place more recently. He lost to Chidi Njokuani 2 years back, I want to say, on my birthday, where he was steamrolled in seconds. And he lost to Anthony Fluffy Hernandez a year ago or so, whatever, by arm triangle choke in round 3. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez is the last guy you want to be underneath. Maybe not the last guy, but one of them. The guy's just a top game monster, incredible pressure, and it's the one time Barriault was submitted. It was being under that guy. Other than that, both guys have only lost via decision. Chris Curtis, he's got 8 of them. We've seen him lose in the UFC to Kelvin Gastelum and Jack Hermanson. The Kelvin Gastelum fight was pretty close. The Jack Hermanson fight was a frustrating decision loss for Curtis. Kind of playing catch-up there. And before that, he lost to some good fighters outside the UFC. Magomed Karamov in the PFL beat him twice by decision. That guy's won multiple $1-million tournaments there. And he also lost way back to Bilal Muhammad, who took him down and forced him to throw a fit after the fight. But Chris Curtis, yeah, he's historically been a very durable fighter. If you don't believe me, ask Joffrey the Kitten. He'll tell you all about it. As far as power goes, Chris Curtis has 17 knockouts in his 30 wins. I'd say Chris Curtis is definitely more likely to get the clean knockout, land a power shot that turns the fight. But I still don't think that's going to happen for either guy. I envision this one being largely a stand-up battle and largely taking place on and largely being a close fight that goes to a decision. I think Marc-Andre Barriault would be more inclined to take the fight to the ground. That's more in his DNA, advance and TKO you from the ground, but I don't think that's going to be done against Chris Curtis, who has had some very good takedown defense. I think he suffered his first takedown against Nassourdine Imavov, but before that, he was perfect. So this one should be kept on the feet, and I think it's going to be a close battle. Marc-Andre Barriault has more hustle. Chris Curtis has more veteran savvy. Curtis will sit back a little bit, which I've criticized him for, but I know he's a guy who's got 40 fights, and he's managing his own energy and probably doing it very well for somebody who's still going at 36 with 40 fights. But at the same time, Marc-Andre Barriault, he will have forward pressure on his side. The guy leading the dance always gets a slight nod on the judge's scorecard, and I expect that to be Marc-Andre Barriault moving forward. I think Chris Curtis could hurt him more, but the volume will be on Marc-Andre Barriault's side. And I also envision if either one of them is going to gain more, as the fight goes on and be fresher down the stretch, I think that would be Marc-Andre Barriault as well, assuming a power shot doesn't change things. That, combined with the fact that this fight is in Canada, and, like I said, I don't think that's going to be the deciding factor in every fight, but when it's a fight that I expect to be a close fight that will go the distance, I think it's very much reasonable to consider it. And I am considering it, and it's got me picking and betting Marc-Andre Barriault. I think it'll be a close fight, but I think Marc-Andre Barriault just in general has more hustle, and in this case, he's got more support And I think it'll just be a close fight, but he's going to win it. Marc-Andre Barriault is the pick. I think it'll be a tight decision. I've played his money line at plus 140. That's good enough for me, but I'll wait to see the prop bets if there's anything else. I don't love the bet, but I certainly like it enough at plus odds to have played it. Marc-Andre Barriault, let's go. I got a cat standing on my fucking neck right now. Like, share, subscribe, all that horseshit. Check out my fucking other video.